Hi, this is your Sapin Bhartiya, and we are here at KubeCon and Cloud in Atlanta. And today we have with us once again Dominic Wilde, SVP and GM of Core Business at Mirantis. Dominic, it's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
It's my pleasure. You folks just announced a major update to Cordant virtualization, bringing AI workloads together with traditional virtualized and cloud native application under one unified management layer. Let's start with Cordant itself. We have covered it, but let's just go there. What it is and what's new in this latest virtualization update.
Yeah, so Cordant it's an open source project, and the genesis for Cordant was to solve the problem of moving into the world of multi-cluster and hybrid cloud and containing Kubernetes sprawl, enabling customers to transition and modernize their infrastructure without, taking on the burden of either a rip and replace of a stack and a technology, or of having to just instantly transform their entire real estate. So Cordant is a Kubernetes-native platform. It is declarative. It uses templates to enable you to deploy services and clusters at large scale across any cloud real estate. It is an Uber control plane. It is effectively a Meta or an Uber control plane, allowing you to interconnect multiple clouds, whether it's private or different public clouds, using Kubernetes native technologies like CAPI. And it is also composable. So it is, very important to most customers to be able to, keep the pieces of their environment that they need. So for instance, I like to say, we have an opinion, but we don't have an agenda. So we will provide you a sort of an opinionated stack in terms of, we will use our K0s distribution, which is in Sandbox. But if you have a different distribution we want to use, absolutely, you can use that, and Cordant will enable that as well. So overall, Kubernetes, large-scale management, lifecycle management.
Excellent. And now let's talk about Cordant virtualization.
Yeah.
What specific problem is it solving, and what benefits are customers already seeing with this unified approach?
So with Cordant and adding virtualization capability to Cordant, what we're doing is enabling customers to bring together into a single platform, a single interface, and a single management platform, VMs and containers, help to move them towards a sort of more modified and modern and unified stack, breaking down silos within their organization, enabling them to drive greater efficiency, but doing this in a way that allows a transformation and a transition. Again, not a rip and replace, not forcing them to, take out things, when they're not ready to. So we can take customers on a journey now, but start to unify their real estate. And quite importantly, what we have seen on our journey with Cordant is we have got a lot of pull from the AI space. So AI workloads running, on top of infrastructure deployed by Cordant. And in particular, we're getting a lot of traction in the NeoCloud space, and they have some unique virtualization challenges. Virtualization with AI workloads is a much more complex topic than just kind of replacing VMware as it was. And so, we're introducing, characteristics with virtualization, but with our Cordant AI variant, where we're helping NeoClouds and we're helping enterprises who have innovation agendas around AI to carve up and, well, first of all, deploy their GPUs, but also carve up and be able to use those GPUs more efficiently, and in a way that, targets the performance attributes they need.
Since you brought in the big elephant, AI in the room,
elephant, yeah.
As organizations are kind of re-architecting their architecture, or infrastructure for AI.
Yeah.
What kind of new challenges that are emerging that they're facing, and how is Cordant kind of designed to address that?
So I think a couple of really big challenges are the performance requirements. So obviously, everything in the AI space is optimized for performance. And so, being able to assure both the optimized stack for performance, but being able to assure that you are aligning the right sort of, GPU, CPU resources to the right workload. That's really important. The way that the networking is now, put together is a little different than what we've been traditionally used to in the enterprise environment, certainly. So those are some of the challenges in terms of, those performance characteristics. And things like, how memory is utilized, whether you're using, local memory and optimizing your local memory, we're enabling sort of support for huge pages and memory mapping and stuff. So those are some of the things that we're incorporating. Also, we've introduced, DRB capability and enabling the sort of load balancing capability of workloads, ensuring, optimal utilization and being able to automatically move workloads and ensure that they are optimized for purpose and performance. So a lot of different challenges there. And quite frankly, to be honest with you, this is still evolving. As some of these NeoClouds are now deploying at, quite incredible scale. As you go to scale, new things are uncovered, and we're helping a lot of organizations to solve a lot of those problems in real time, to be frank. And Cordant is, as I said, it's composable, so it's quite flexible. We have a catalog of partner organizations that we're able to tap into and have customers be able to simply deploy supporting applications and supporting tools. So yeah, there's a lot in here. It's really building into an ecosystem and a sort of full platform of capabilities around AI.
If you look at Mirantis, you folks have your roots in OpenStack now, which is part of Linux Foundation umbrella itself. Yeah. So it spans, the way infrastructure, bare metal, and then the modern Kubernetes workloads.
Yep.
Because of that deep experience and expertise, as organizations, also there are only so many GPUs in the world, so they're also trying to scale, optimize, make it more efficient. What are some of the pain points that you're seeing where companies run into? Because everybody wants to get on AI bandwagon, but excitement is there, but then the challenge starts. So how is Cordant or other building blocks that Mirantis has built are going to help them?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we've certainly with OpenStack, in general, we've seen a sort of a reemergence of or a renewed interest in private cloud. That it's both an alternative for virtualization at large scale, but it's obviously an important private cloud technology. We're seeing repatriation. We see a lot of challenges around sovereignty and stuff. So that's driven that. And so the hybrid cloud has become, I won't say the new normal, because we've talked about hybrid cloud for forever, but it is now a brutal reality, and it brings with it challenges. So having technologies, the range of technologies that we do and the range of expertise that we do, and having deployed all of these technologies at incredible scale, and having the services capability to be able to help customers solution and solve specific business problems, we're very well positioned to be able to help customers to put together a strategy and a journey of where they are today and where they need to go. We've introduced a maturity model for AI to help customers to understand, which is available on our website. A bunch of simple questions, but help customers to understand where they are in this journey of preparing for the future of AI. That's something that we're seeing a lot of interest in, because quite frankly, a lot of organizations don't even know the questions to ask there. But as we look at, the transitions people are making, and they look at, how they think about, as you mentioned, from bare metal to all the way up the stack to, the LLM models. And this is a phrase that we've adopted, is from metal to model, is we're able to help customers look at the entirety of that stack and be able to say, look, from bare metal, from bare bones, all the way up through the different layers of, infrastructure as a service, GPU PaaS, AI PaaS, or Neo PaaS, as we're phrasing it now, all the way up to the delivery of those, LLM models, the inference, the training, etc. We're able to help customers to both, plan for and map out a path forward, map out the right technologies for them, but ensuring that they're doing that without a vendor agenda in place, that they are maintaining both, the opportunity to have a fast on-ramp, but to have an exit if they, need to as well. Giving customers choice, reducing risk, and ensuring we're focusing customers on how they can gain greater efficiency and drive their businesses forward, rather than looking at, how do we make ourselves, how do we organize ourselves around the available technology? So because we have that breadth of expertise, we're able to, to help customers on that path as well.
In addition to that expertise, Mirantis also focuses a lot on partnerships. The ecosystem. Can you also talk about, of course, AI story these days is largely around NVIDIA.
Yeah.
But there are other players. By players, I mean partner, the whole ecosystem. Talk about Mirantis' approach and the work that you are doing with NVIDIA and other partners in the space to further help customers in their journey for AI.
Yeah, so we were at NVIDIA's GTC event a couple of weeks ago, and we made some joint announcements with NVIDIA. One was around their AI factory for government, and how we're helping to deliver the first iterations of that. And the other was around the work that we've done in supporting their new Bluefield, the current Bluefield DPUs, and the next generation of those DPUs as well. So they're a great partner to work with. We're working more closely with them. We've kind of found ourselves, pulled into this as we've worked with some of these NeoCloud vendors and helping to solve, those problems as well. So this is an exciting time for us to work with, obviously the leader in the space. But we're providing a lot of expertise again here, and bringing our sort of our cloud chops to bear. But we're also taking a leaf out of NVIDIA's book, being that, they're very sort of, open with their ecosystem in terms of, working with a range of partners. So we are also working with, with many people in this space. Obviously, NVIDIA is the leader, in terms of, market share, et cetera. And, so yeah, I mean, it's an important environment. It's a developing ecosystem. We're very pleased to be kind of in the middle of that, and to be, working with, the leadership, companies in the space. So yeah, it's exciting times.
Can you also talk about how do you see Cordant shaping not only the future of hybrid and AI-driven infrastructure over the next couple of years? Because what happens is that we have seen in past, new technologies come in, but they complement a lot of other workloads, a lot of other infrastructures. So we have seen, throughout history. So what role do you see of Cordant, not only in the traditional workloads, but also AI-driven workloads?
Yeah. I think for customers, this is a transformation journey. I think that, what tends to happen is a new technology comes along, it pops up, we start to build a silo around it. And so we're giving customers the opportunity here to actually integrate AI as a technology into their existing environment, while also, breaking down some of the silos that may still exist in their environment. So even within the cloud space, as we've mentioned, you have containerized workloads, you have, workloads running in virtual machines, and they tend to be siloed between different tool sets with, different, potentially organizations responsible. And so over time, as AI comes in, there is not just a desire, but there is a need to start to bring those together, and have this kind of like single focus of a common infrastructure lifecycle management, a common infrastructure orchestration capability. A lot of companies are approaching that as a sort of an opportunity to develop a sort of full, highly opinionated stack that requires a rip and replace. It's kind of like a, do it my way kind of approach. And there's some merits to that. There's some attractiveness, to that for various reasons. But our belief is, that, we've always been, huge supporters and huge advocates within the open source community that, open source foundations, open source principles are the way to go. The ability to have this composable approach and to give customers the choice of not just, when to make changes, but what to change and what to keep. That allows them to have a transformation journey that is a lot more practical for them. It is a lot easier on them. It is more sort of financially prudent. AI, while it's, it's happening pretty fast, AI is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is not, hey, we're all gonna work out our AI strategy by the end of the year and we'll be good. This is a marathon of things that's gonna come through. So, the underlying infrastructure capabilities, the whole sort of, Kubernetes layer and everything is going to play a much more important role going forward in being able to orchestrate all of this within the enterprise.
Dominic, thank you so much for joining me
appreciate
today.
it.
Give us an update on the announcements, but also the whole journey towards AI. Thank you for your insights. And as usual, I look forward to chat with you again.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's great.